with them. We seek to collaborate with them to ensure that stakeholders, of course, to ensure practices and sustainability. If you don't ensure sustainability, you end up making wealth, but at the end of the day, destroying. So have to maintain proper inventory of the resources of the state. So this is what our primary responsibilities are, and it's clearly spelled out, actually, in summarizing one sentence in the manifesto, the manifesto, which is also, it says, explore, evaluate, and then downstream. Downstream means set up processing plants, encourage partnership with people that will help us set up processing plants in the state. Processing plants of solid minerals, refineries, refining gas plants and things like that for the petroleum and the energy, and then also alternative sources of energy and renewable energy sources, which we have in huge quantities in the state. So this is that's basically our primary responsibility.
Okay. Ọ dị mma achọ m ka m bịa n'akụkụ nke ọzọ because as na ekwu amara ibezie o nwere ebe nchọ ka m lụtụ aka dịka o si ometa ife ụlọọrụ na-alụ so mgbe na-achọ ka mmalụ nwe ife dịka atụmatụ kind of iwu policy iwebatara n'ọnọdụ iji wee kwalite ife nkega n'afọ maka ife ndị dum a na-egopụta na uto mmanụ petrol na-alụ n'ime steeti abụ Anambra.
Ụfọdụ na-eme ma ọ bụ na ị nwere iwu ma na ị nwere etu isi tụzie aka a ga-esi eme ya na-enye nsogbu nsọ na-enye nsogbu. Gọvanọ anyị bụ Soludo, Governor Chukwudo, Mr. Governor Chukwu Soludo already enyego order. They teach you about sustainability. Nkwu n'onu Igbo mean ife mean bụ ka anyị bie ndụ ka ọ ga-abụ ụmụ anyị ga-abịa ka ha fụkwa ebe ha ga-ebi. So ife anyị na-egwu n'ala ọ bụrụ na ya emere etu ọ ga-mee ọfụma ka ọ ga-abụ anyị mesịa naba na ụmụ anyị ga-afụkwa ebe ha bi ọ ka anyị were ife dị n'ala wee dozie onwe anyị ma chetakwa na enwere ndị na-abịa n'iru ka ga-anọkwa iwere ike ya ifuga na anyị na-egwukasị ebe niile ikwukasị ma ọ bụ na enwere kọntrol ebe na enwere ka esi chekwaba tie egwu ka a ga-esi na-eme ma na enwere ike gwugedekwa anyị mafụ ụzọ isi si Ọka ji Ọnịcha anyị makwụsịkwa ebe anyị bi so enwere iwu dịgasị iwu dị nwee nke iwu ndị federal gọọmenti ọchịchị etiti na Abuja na-eti nwekwa nke steeti anyị na-eji aka anyị tie dịka ihe dịka mining. I will reform agenda for mining and governor nyego executive onyego order set up committee ga na-afụ na onye ọbụla chọrọ ime mining na Anambra ga-emerịrị etu usoro iwu siti usoro nke etiti usoro nke Anambra ka ife na aba anyị ga-adịkwara ụmụ anyị dị ka ga-amụ amụ so onye ka eji nwee committee chukwu nyekwa aka ọ bụkwa mwa ka gọvanọ sikwa mbụ chairman committee ahụ.
Okay, all right, Prof. In the area of job creation, we would like to know how your office is working to maximize potentials that your agency can provide in terms of job creation.
Well, obviously, what we now need to do, there's already massive job creation in the state from the extractive industry. I like to use the word extractive industry because it covers petroleum. Anything you extract, petroleum and solid minerals resources. So I use that word to reduce it. Already there's massive creation of jobs, but the problem is that it is not organized. The sector is not organized, and what we're doing now is saying we must handle this in a very organized manner. People are being, actually what we're having, a lot of people are being employed by the mining companies. I don't call them mining companies, illegal mining companies that are all over the place in the state. And are being treated as slave laborers. They're being used, no safety gadgets, nothing. But what we are trying to do now is to set the rules right, set the game right. A lot for a typical mining activity of one tipper. Let me use the common word people use. We normally call tons, but let me just use the common word. A tipper of sand you see crossing the road involves no less than 6 workers. The issue is how organized are these workers? Who are these workers? A lot of them are being created. Then you have the artisans who go about digging kaolin, exposing themselves to danger. We call them artisanal miners. You also need to now look at their health. Before you know it, take health Notice the health concerns all over this place in the state today. Many are coming from the mining industry. People are being exposed to cancer, cancerogenic environments. A lot of people are beginning to develop all kinds of illnesses, gold and what have you. So what we are doing now is to say all these artisanal miners, we are converting them. What the Mining Act, the National Mining, what the Mining Act of 2007 says, create mining cooperatives. Form them into cooperatives, just like in those days of MI Opara and Co. They created the so-called multi-purpose cooperatives, farmers cooperatives. What we're doing now is say, let's have mining cooperatives. Mining cooperatives in the sense that, for example, in mining, we have the same in the area of petroleum also. Mining cooperatives in the sense that we put together a minimum of 10 people. Other women, we are trying to be gender sensitive by saying, let women be on there, because the people that are most abused are female women miners. Are the female ones. Put them together into 10, register them. When they have been registered by my office, working hand in hand with what is called MIRENCO, Mineral Resources and Environmental Management Committee of the government, of federal government, it's part of the Mining Act. Again, by coincidence, or sheer coincidence, I happen also to be the chairman of MIRENCO. Well, maybe because I'm, like some say, I'm Mr. Solid Minerals. So I happen again to be the chairman of MIRENCO. We get them registered. Now, when we have registered them, go to Federal Ministry of go to Mining Cadastre. They are entitled to one mining cadastral unit. One cadastral unit. Once that is given, the only requirements they need is that we recognize, we register them, have them documented, open an account for them, use the power of the sovereign state to say, yes, we are behind these people. They are giving that makes them licensed mining cooperatives. Nobody can abuse them anymore. How do they fund the exercise? The government says, okay, we have an office called Solid Minerals Development Fund. People don't know about this. Now we are beginning to create that awareness. Solid Mineral Development Fund, through the Bank for Industry, is supposed to provide them 10 million naira support. The 10 million naira, they don't pay it back until after a certain number of years, but then they have consolidated. The idea being that by the end of the day, when they start paying single-digit interest on it, they may now increase the number of mining units they have to 2 to 3 and employ others. And before you know it, like they have in China, you have created the so-called state enterprise-backed mining companies, which is what in China. So that's what we're doing. As I speak now, a team from my office that are in charge of the mining cooperative establishments that are in Tejago now. There are women who have been going inside, right inside the hole, digging bentonite. We've acquired the entire bentonite field. It now belongs to us. But you don't throw away those women and we'll say to them, stop dying. Come. So there's a meeting going on now in Tejago to form a cooperative. And by the time they finish the meeting, they've already appointed their leader, their chairman, their secretary, and everything. We're going to open a bank account for them. They are the signatories, but we are the supervisors for the account, and take it to Abuja. Somebody is leaving for Abuja on Monday with the first set of mining cooperatives. We're also setting up one for Cow Lane. These people digging Cow Lane, these car trucks you see, people are going into the place digging and getting sick. Cow Lane contains silica, contains radioactive materials, and they're exposing themselves to it. We are bringing them together, give them proper mining, and then luckily for the budget this year, the governor has also approved some money for equipment for us to buy. Those equipments we are going to now use it to support them and lease it to these mining cooperatives. When we are not using it for ourselves, we'll use it for them to mine and in a safe manner, make their money, grow, train their children, live longer. And there are 4 such mining cooperatives already being set up that we need to complete this first quarter. Second quarter, another set. And that is where, so employment generation, yes, at where we're building a processing plant already, we're employing 30 youths already working there. There are already 30 people working. And the same goes with all the other mining activities. We need to now coordinate it. We're taking a survey, we're monitoring, and we're asking, tell us who is working for you. Don't turn anybody into a slave. You must tell us how much. We know what the minimum wage for a typical mine worker is. See what happened in South Africa where illegal miners were buried underground. As of today, how many died when the government now decided to help bring a lot of our people are underground, digging bentonite and digging something. And what the government, what Mr. Solution is saying is, Prof, go regularize this thing, save the life of all these people, make them sustainable, and give them a livelihood that is respectable. And that's what we're doing.
Okay, thank you, Prof.
Ọ dị mma achọ m ka mlụtụ aka because o nwere something ikwulu banyere ọlụ na ọlụ na-alụ when it comes to environment, because o nwere something a na-akpọ environmental disaster, and this has been one of the challenges humans and the government may face, especially this Buze. So coming to this aspect of mining and energy extraction, say ka ekun si ejikwa buruburu in terms of this mining of it, because some of niile na-egbu bụ naanị. So to avoid that nsogbu and challenges a na-enwe in the environment, ka ụlọ ọrụ nsi ejikwa ya ma ọ bụ na onwe ka o si wee dapụta.
So I know you go carrot and stick approach.
Okay.
Carrot, because I give a consultation. We enlighten, I give a candy, obodo niile ihe a na-eme na be ha marụ na ekwu ihe na-eme ha ga-ejekwana na akụ aka na afọ trọk bụ nke a na-apụ ma tanka bụ nke ma paịpụ nke ndị ọcha bịa tie n'igwu mmanụ maybe ewere 10,000 naira enye ha eje ṅụọ biya na kpuru mee ha ka ha marụ na nsogbu odokwa mee ha ka ha mara na nsogbu mekwa ka ndị kọmpanị na-eme ha marụ n'obodo makwa na gọọmenti makwa na nsogbu dị na ha na-ekreti nsogbu mana anyị chọkwa ka ha na-arụ ọrụ maka ego ha na-eweta na-eso emepe obodo mana ha ga-emerịrị ya n'ụzọ kwụ ọtọ ga-eme na obodo dị mma. Ọkwefu Anambra ya, Anambra is the smallest state in terms of land mass na the whole Nigeria. Anyị kwesịrị ịbụ number 2 mana kịta anyị bụzi the smallest. Erosion ekerugo nke ya almost 30% nke ya, flooding ekerugo nke ya, amami na water,
yes,
flooding ekerugo nke ya, natural hazards disaster niile ekeru nke ya. Then the mining na-achọkwa ikerukwazi almost 50% of Anambra, and Mr. Solution, the solution agenda say no, it will not happen anymore. We must check it. Ọ bụ na emere ndị warrior, we are worried about it. Oya mee ị na-anya ị da-afụzi trucks na-agbagharị ebe niile na onye ọhụrụ igwe onwe eziokwu ya kwuo ha da-agbagharịzi oge ebidoro this reform program. I bido reform mesịa the mandate, the directive nwe bụ as chairman Prof and your committee go reform the mining sector. Ya sọ kwụsị mining. Mining dị mkpa mana reform it, make it ka ọ dị sustainable, make sure na ịgbatacha ego i destroy ebe ụmụ anyị ga-ebi. So ị na-anya na ịda afụzi ebe a na-egwu ka latrite ebe niile ma n'ime villages because anyị move go in kwụsịa completely. So ihe anyị na-ekwuzi kịta ihe anyị na-emezi anyị na-akpọzi ha oku abịa kpọọ oku akpọ ndị company sa bịanụ bịa register ka ngwazi ụlọ oge anyị si ndị company list anyị nweta from Abuja na ọ karị 1,000 mining companies na Anambra, ma mgbe anyị si ha bịa ka ha register ka anyị makere onye na-abịa were akwụkwọ o ji wee ya were akwụkwọ mpempe akwụkwọ a na-akpọ laịsensị e nyere ya na Abuja wee bịa ya were evidence of corporate social responsibility bụ ihe ọ na-emere obodo ebe ọ na-egwu aja ma ebe ọ na-eme ihe ọbụla ọ na-eme ya were EIA environmental impact assessment ya akwụkwọ ga-egosi na study-gokwu ihe ga-eme na environment ka mara ka a ga-esi wee ma were environment management plan gị bịa de were list of tax ndị na-akwụ ụgwọ na-akwụ tax a na-akwụ maka ụgwọ tax ka eji emepe obodo were ya bịa den CDA community development agreement ya agreement nkọkọrịta dị na that community nwe ka ị ga-esi wee mepere anyị obodo anyị maka ihe ị na-eburu na ihe Chukwu nyere anyị. Mmadụ ole ka anyị nyego clearance ọmụ chairman ya ọsọ gba sọsọ 11 sọsọ mmadụ 11 ka anyị ka nyego clearance ruo tata. Gọvanọ sị m gwa m wetuo ife iwu kwuru to 70%, ọkwa 70% taa ka anyị ji nweta sọsọ 11, which means na ihe niile a na-egwu kasị na Anambra niile nwere onye na-akwụ tax nwere onye na-eme njem not just na damage ebe niile mana Mr. Solution say Prof it will continue, and that is why I'm what I'm going through because of it, because my threats, more kinds of things as far as in the concern, we must operate mining in a sustainable manner.
Okay.
We must operate the petroleum industry. Jena Obaru, Kefi Henemen, Ngosigi picture, if we Henemen, no quite na enumeration, present in ISCO. Kefu the disaster and the oil companies in Eme. Nobaru, Ozadro, Makade, Jao, Miriada Aba, Oko Ademu, meanwhile, you see about the boy Lina with badge. Governor is saying enough is enough.
Okay.
That's it.
All right, Mr. Commissioner, Dr. Lomefo, Prof has already stated some of the things that the agency is doing with regards to these mining activities. And from what he's saying, it would appear that despite the olive branch the government is extending to some persons, some people would still prefer to be involved in illegal mining as opposed to coming and doing the right thing, which is working with the government and doing things the way they ought to do. But why is it that our people are behaving this way? Why is it that there are still illegal miners despite everything the government have put in place to stop the quagmire?
That's a very deep and complex question. First, why our people behave the way they do? Why is it that the average on Anambra would prefer to live above the law, would prefer to live without the law, and all that? Is a situation that speaks to our social organization as a people, loss we have experienced in value system erosion, where people do no longer believe in even government and governance. They want to be government unto themselves. It has been a trend and very challenging, not only in the mining or petroleum sector, it spreads across. The harder they come, the harder should be the regulation and enforcement. Since it is maybe archetypal of human nature to go for what you may call hedonism. Let me try and break that word down. The principle of hedonism, that is a pleasure-driven principle. You don't want to be accountable to anything. Do you understand that? The only way to cure it is through strict enforcement. And but before you talk about strict enforcement, the law itself will have to be enforceable. And that means you need to make sure that the laws that you're bringing into the operation to regulate human conduct will have to in itself be humane, enforceable. And then, of course, you require cooperation of the people. That is where public enlightenment comes in. And that is what we are doing. We have to keep telling our people, let them know. Because you see, even the Bible says that my people perish because of lack of knowledge. What Prof told us here now is an eye-opener in that direction. You are mining kaolin, but you don't know the chemical components. That part of it is even radioactive. That makes you a candidate to devastating ailments like cancer and so on and so forth. Many of these people who are trapped in it may just give poverty as an excuse. But I'm sure that if they know the health hazards involved in that, they may seek alternative means of livelihood.
Yeah.
That continues to underscore the place of public enlightenment, public education, and that is why I brought a Prof here to be confronted by you, so that our people, through you, can understand what is going on.
Okay.
So that's the much I can say.
All right.
For now.
I think it's time to give the people a chance to also, face for
Contribute
if
to
they
the
have
program.
anything. Besides, after all, Prof is on the hot seat today, but not very hot. We are very convinced he's not going to burn him because he knows what he's doing. He can't burn him. He knows what he's doing. Yes, he knows what he's doing. All right. And just to remind you that this program is still Ask the Commissioner. It's coming to you right here from Anambra Broadcasting Service. And today on the hot seat, we have Professor Charles Ofoegbu. He is the MD, Anambra State Solid Minerals Development Company and Anambra State Petroleum and Energy Resources Limited. Of course, we also have our very own Commissioner, High Chief Dr. Lomefo, Commissioner for Information. And our focal point of discussion today is progress in solid minerals and petroleum developments in Anambra State. All right, to join the conversation, go to Facebook, Anambra Broadcasting Service. It's streaming live on Facebook. Or call the studio lines 0904 956 0826 0904 956 0826.
ị nwekwara ike ịkpọ anyị na 0706-538-1320 0706-538-1320 nke a bụ akara ekwentị ga-eji nweta
Someone
anyị.
is here. Hello? Hello?
onye na ya?
All right, no time to flash. If you want to call, you call. But when you call, please tell us your name and where you're calling from, and turn down the volume of your radio set as well.
Hello? Hello.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, my name is Kenneth Ugo.
Onye Ugu, ka ebi siwe na bany.
Kenneth Ugo, I'm man with it.
Ganiru no.
Go ahead.
Prof, I'm like a prof.
Okay.
Because many things who got today. Me name is Akidaya. Please you. For Mariana Calari, so I am a dash. Hasna was not getting enough and Afro no profit before no it. Keep an up and they stop before no it. You see, my element was next by yes. It gives you on the share about also. Then I destroy all those things. Like it goes to the who got you concern the normal the documents of nature or Kubromara and the talk from one so that's something I do sometimes you know you will take who's right when put in the picture. So because I'm very happy for the who better.
Okay, thank you.
Hello.
Okay.
Hello. Yes. Good afternoon. Yes, this is ABS. Name and location.
Yeah, thanks from the
You're welcome. Go ahead.
Ganiru.
Yeah, Professor No. I'm a recruit. I'm going to small bottle now. We're going to bank. We're looking at the blue in Apple. We define the benefit. Then you don't want to believe that. John Obama, we are full down what Nigeria Kashani. We are so, I'm going to give you my review. I want to see an all free. Okay, meaning the Banyaka. Then, it's also no bank if you can tell you, and Kumaki. We are darling, obvious.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Mba chitakwa na ị ga etinyekwala anyị ihe ezitenwuru anyị ozi na akara WhatsApp anyị na 0705 113 8812. Okay. Hello.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Yes, sir.
Kedu afọ na ebisa abụọ?
I'm the conductor of it.
Onye? Hello.
Hello.
It's me, Onye. I know Afagi.
Kedu afọ gị na ebisa akpa anyị?
I'm the Sunday.
All right, go ahead.
Ngwa gaa n'iru. Sunday.
Yeah, but I have no number there. Hello?
We can hear you.
Na
Go
gaa n'iru.
ahead.
Anyị na ndị fi na-ekwu. Ọ dị ka ị na-enene TV ngwa.
All right, do
Yeah,
feel
boy,
free
China
to
sauce.
call us back, and you can also join the conversation on Facebook as well at Anambra Broadcasting Service. Someone else there?
Okay, no.
Okay, Prof, we'll come back to you while we still expect reactions from the public. We want to talk about collaboration. How does your office engage with local communities, businesses, and stakeholders, particularly communities where some of these mining activities are actually going on?
Yes, actually, sustainable development of the extractive industry requires that you must have a link between the government at federal, state, local, community, and landowner or family basis. You must establish that. And what do we do? That is why, for us to clear you to go back, for me to recommend you to, let me use mining for example, to the Mr. Governor, to approve that you go back to your mining site, you must provide for me evidence of the consent of the family. The consent form as designed was signed by the family, the landowners. then the community, the village head, the woman leader, the women folk, because they're important. You destroy the place, the women go to the farm, they are the ones that suffer most, they suffer first. The youths, so that there will be no youth restiveness. Because at the end of the day, the youths that will carry the placard, I thought they carry very offensive weapons. Then you now have to have the traditional institution also, giving the final rod, and the PG, the political head of the community. Armed with that, will now say, okay, what do you do next? We'll now have to find out from you what are you going to do with the community, and we'll discuss, we'll hold consultations, we'll have stakeholders meeting at community level. Last time, while others were celebrating Christmas, I was at Obo, because that's when all of them came home, those from the explorers from all over the world. And we had to meet with them to say, this mining activity is going. We have a mining site there. We're also building a processing plant, one of the first kaolin processing plants in this country that we specialize processing for pharmaceutical grade, processing for industry grade, taking advantage and not allowing people just come and be cutting away our kaolin, damaging our roads. We now want to build in situ plants there. We have to meet with them and say, fine, this is what we're doing, this is there, and this and this and this and this. We want to employ some people, nominate people. That is a consultation. Then at the more corporate level, more advanced level, we hold what we call stakeholders meetings. We just finished one stakeholders meeting in November with the public. We actually, thank God, the press officer who is your colleague is here. She's also the editor-in-chief of the publication. We finished with one Dr. Rita. We did a stakeholders meeting. This time, our emphasis was on ethical issues in mining. We want to even start with ethics. Are people ethical enough? That covers how do you relate to the community, how do you relate to the state. Refusal to pay tax, income tax, which is give to Caesar what is Caesar, and to and then give to God what belongs to God. What belongs to God is that you make sure, remember that people are living there, don't kill them. So give to them what is. Then come back and give us our tax, give us our IGR and what have you. And then also look at the environment. We held that. Then we brought a professor of psychology. A professor of psychology was part of the lead speakers. He addressed the psychological issues of mind. Like my own brother, seated by me here, talked about human nature. If you read his presentation, in fact, people were miners, stakeholders who brought were amazed. He told them that people are mentally disturbed. When you see a man who goes behind somebody's house and start digging laterite, that man is sick. He needs to go to a psychiatrist. He analyzed different classes of psychiatric ailments.
There's no way on the streets. There's no way on the streets.
And then he told them, he brought it down to ground zero and told the man, you can understand, there is not only that madman in the street that is mad. That you are also crazy. When you see a woman, a widow, and you use an example of a widow, you carry her, you pay her 2,000 naira a day. Carry a wheelbarrow and give to her, and then she's bringing out something. A wheelbarrow of what she's bringing out for you is giving you 10,000 naira or 20,000 naira, and you're giving him her 2,000 naira to expose herself today. It means not only are you are not considerate, but you are not only wicked, but you are mentally. He classified different classes of mental illness. So we need to address it, and the next issue of that stakeholder meeting will emphasize compliance and regulatory authority. We're also going to bring a psychologist, industrial psychologist, to also come and tell us why do people refuse to comply to rules of government, rules of the law, the land, pay their whatever is due to the state. We have agreed that it will always be component. So collaboration, interaction, and what have you, sharing. At times they give you ideas. We learn every day. And then you learn also for tomorrow, you modify your rules. And then, of course, enforcement. We must enforce, having explained to them everything and told them why we must do this. Where the man now decides he doesn't want. In Anambra, we have what I call a child brigade. The governor said, Prof, if they become so stubborn, they will not listen. Commission, director of child brigade, and then dispatch security, they are there waiting. Tell them what to do, and they will swing into action. And he does not, let me frank with you, Mr. Solution does not respect who we are. Some people will go and instead of go back to Prof. Ofoegbu, go and do what is right before the law and before God and man. And they will come back. And when you refuse, whoever you are, Orchard Brigade will go after you. Because we must preserve our environment. We must also preserve our wealth. And we must always use it, also protect it, and use it for the development of Anambra State.
Okay. Well, talking about learning something, I guess we just learned that it's not everybody that roams around the street that is actually mentally unstable. There are some people actually, but they don't know. They've not been diagnosed that they are until they tell them they are. All right, just to remind you that we're still here on Ask the Commissioner. You still have a chance to ask Professor Charles Ofoegbu some questions with regards to the activities of the Anambra State Solid Minerals Development Company and Anambra State Petroleum and Energy Resources Limited this afternoon.
Hello. Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Okay, boys, ngwakuzina na nunu.
When you turn there, Imani Banya, one of my petrol. Typically, it's made a quaint around. One on any work I looked at. But of course, I will petrol of my. The money put my name to quit. When I was everything, I never hit 1,000 or 1,300. Typically, see, Ononuju. I need to put a muddy kill. I can now, I can see on there. It's a leaker.
All right, thank you very much.
Okay.
Okay, feel free to call us back. And progress in solid minerals and petroleum developments in Anambra State. You have time. Prof no chana po. Iga kwa ime nka asige mene. Ime ise ne maro. Bua iya wo hirigi ju ajiji ni no bona echeje wene ma.
Prof, the kind Antonio, only something Governor Soludo believe in this public-private partnership. So, you can do a show, you know, when can I get near Runan, and get benefits in me because all one are other easy.
It's in English, or English in Igbo kind of it.
An industry over a small boys game. The sort of industry really boom or not also if men and they buy is we buy they benefit from the hasten sort of industry.
Okay.
And they buy believe we they go for media. 1 naira, layer 1.5 naira. Will they go at Tiana? But the industry will long term thing, need a investment in here. It require a lot of technology. It require a lot of multi-diversified subjects. So and the government, like Governor government, even na ESCO. Prof, if you know maybe French or government only any place, even set industry. Nka anyị na-arụ ụkọ bụ a prototype iji gosi ndị mmadụ na-ekwe na gọọmenti nwere ike ime and na-ekwe na enwere ike ime na Anambra ma na bai. So I na-look out ndị anyị na ha ga-partner. Nka nọ ebe a na-ekwu now every day ma from the UK, from America, from ebe niile ndị mmadụ amago through the support of Governor Soludo na anyị nwere the resources, natural resources. I will Hana Pokasi and the partner, and we will go into a solution of interest or technical and financial if it is mana imana oyina Anambra no an econometrist to the core. So if one on us if you didn't make culture, but you can not do happy or can not do Hacho do see I am a public bidding. It is a na federal level. Public bidding bo okay isi na nke ka mma weta okay for weta anodana ekwu na onye nke ka mma se nwere ga pụta echi si na Prof Ofoegbu na Soludo no makara ndị abụ ndị ya na ha jekara akwụkwọ ndị abụ ndị enyi ha na ka ha ji wee mee partnership and unu gara kunu gote ego ka anyị nwe the mina anyị na-eme acquire all the assets. So our take na anyị nwe I want to choose develop your back support. Then in the petroleum industry, we are trying to acquire the gas fields. What have we done? We have done enumeration of the entire gas fields. Then when Anambra, we did the caps. Even if you now, why you never have other than gas wells to the about 5 gas wells to the about in cluster. All cabins, so they have for the HNA Bendal for the Aquajana. I say I'm Baniva cluster of gas wells, the Regiquanian Sumacoco. Then I basically identify Hanini. Jequari maybe on your body kuna phone. Jebendo Baru. This is Kuna and the come actually because that's the man. Even for the Aurora, have that second also Ficum Manukahani Kute. mana anyị emeghị access fụna ha na-ekute more than ofu iko ọzọ kịta nke gọvanọ na-akwadozi isi ngwa bịazie nkụnụ gwazie ego si abụ ofu iko ka ọ na-ekute maka ị ga-akwado wepụ ọgụ anyị akwadogozi anyị adịgo ready and ọbọdụ sọsọ ya enwekwa issue of ụfọdụ oyi wells anyị some states ndị ọzọ abịa na-asị na ọha nwe na ọha nwe onye isi onye na-achị anyị sị Prof ngwa n'ịbụ eju explorationist you are known to be an expert ngwa jee ka anyị prove na anyị nwe anyị ejego produce a composite map that should coordinate ebe all the oil wells all the oil field anyị bụzi ya pụkụzi ha sị ngwa gwa na anyị kosibụ na steeti unu ka ọ dị na ọ bụrụ na nke anyị ka ọ dị okwu ya ụfọdụ enweghị nke anyị ji eje win nata kọrọ onwe anyị aka and anyị adịgo ready so no partnership many companies are coming anyị nwechizi aka anyị na-screen zi enwere memo mmere gọvanọ tata lisiri ndị bịanụ and ndị anyị decide na ya chọrọ continue discussion with maka anyị na-esitizi on the gold ịchọzi ibebiri ịbịakwute anyị ka anyị na-agakpa mana anyị na-eme nkoroji ndị Anambrarians ndị be anyị kpatara ego ka ha bịa kọrọ bibukwa echi ha sị n'ọsọsọ ndị ọcha n'ọsọ ndị a ka ha bịa ụfọdụ kpatara ezigbote ego ha bịa and many na-abịazi ma ndị si Spain ma ndị si ebe ha na-abịazi si ngwa na anyị chọrọ ka anyị na unu mekọ ka anyị na gọvanọ Soludo maka wine ha nwere confidence na onye na-achị m that confidence I'm happy a British man a peer a sị na mmadụ a peer British bụ si dị fiajanche ebe ka anyị kwuo okwu glass industry bụ one they trust the hands that are running the show. I believe we had long ago. Obos osida today na chiata. They trust the hand. They trust to you know the way is going and nature it doesn't caro harness our glass sand. Why my chose kwusi aja ni na na but for the baja ide jeru ma industry ma glass me ni e je na ekpe na we dey na akwa na uno. E we aja eji aru uno. When KJ industrial and for high the glass sand as we call it, when they were high in silicate. Man, the buy amoro na ni egu kasi ebe niile and the go on na akwụ gwa ji iburu na tipa eje na kwa na ebe a na-arụ ụlọ onye chi rụ na ya gwa ya nke ajoji arụ ụlọ ịchọzọ ndị nke dị industrial happier all part of anyị na-ekwu na reform na enwe ebe ndị ji somewhere na ha na-ekwu as you can dig a lateral they don't touch the sand because that sand is highly is highly profitable as an industrial sand and then that natural glass industry eba one of the places I need choose so if I did happen to so that is all collaboration and many are coming from all over the world mana governors in actually modana kamaro ndị eziokwu ma ndị bụ ndị asị maka ụfọdụ nwere kesịgara ha na-abịa ịgbara ọsọ gbakwuru ha ịmụrụ ihe a chọrọ agwara ka ihe ha si okpe ana then ka ha buru nye ha license property ihe na ime akwa ya ha bụrụzie ha gbafuo for example the one ndị mmadụ na-achụgharị anyị kịta afọ Caroline a na-egwuru akpa ndị mmadụ ọbụkọ ya bụ the last I discovered na Anambra State with a large deposit of Caroline amara m afọ na-ataghị enwe ụlọ Caroline nya nke dị clean contain any impurity or dangerous thing to the stomach anyị nwere ya pure ngosi gị beautiful picture ya ebe igbo ọsọ anyị nwere ya to the extent na pharmaceutical companies even outside Nigeria now na contact him I was known ihe gọvanọ kwuru na anyị ga-arụ processing plant anyị produce a bag ya anyị emechago picture akpa ya anyị bag ya ịbịaza ya gwaghị ego na ọ bụ igoro then nye emphasis to the local manufacturers drug producers na-atụbata pharmaceutical grade Caroline the budget the governors buy that equipment produce it here baggage it they are made in Anambra, Nigeria. The bag, they produce the bag ready to use. Wow. So at the end of the day, let them come. This move to Philip Miko Magnesia, anti-acid or KJMia. That is the big deal. And I know they are here. And the mother Amaro, Amaro. If I follow the outage in place, it will follow. So no, and Hammer, no, you go. They first is that. I why budget is Rianata. We got a fair idea, you know, and also there are so many. Anyway, gravel park, you can't drill for oil or gravel park, AJ park, where boreholes. Go to the Banu, Nimiri, stream money and flow at a hanging gravel park. I am a gear quite. Most of them wake up at their many. All Anambra State government was here, and I chose it clean here up, salt oil. Grade and sizes and colors. Had it very beautiful. So for them, the villagers, for them, they go for their command to remember anymore. For I said, no, they had a file, see how on either. What inform them? Why the Fabia As an
I told you,
guy, go to Wadro. So, you know.
Prof, based on what you're saying, this Caroline, I'm Caroline, or Brony, anyway, it's somewhere. Basically, it's in a community, right?
Yes.
Most of the problems we carry communities is sometimes when you come to a community and you mine stuff, you extract products, you get things from the community. Community feel that should change, just like one of the callers said. That should change in the sense that you get these things from their community and they don't get any benefits. So what I'm asking is, all this mining, extraction, different activities going on in different communities, is there a way the communities themselves benefit in order not to create any form of rancor? How do you ensure that these communities are part of
the
the
laws of the land requires every mining company, extractive company, petroleum or mining, to have what you call corporate social responsibility.
CSR?
A CSR. This CSR must be agreed to ab initio. It was the omission of this factor that leads to the problems you have in Aguleri. You said in Obaru. And to some extent, Aguleri. I was involved. I was the chairman of the Technical Committee on Oil and Gas Development in Anambra State. The committee that worked towards Anambra becoming oil producing. It was a shock when we realized that even the petrol oil companies were not even bothered about anything about the communities. Some of the agreements reached have not been implemented, but under Governor Soludo, we're going to get to that, and they're going to implement all of them. That is where you see children going to school on boat from Uguanocha on a stream to Uli to go to school, or Eheala, or even to Uguta. Then some go by boat from Oguipere down towards Atani to go to school. Many times those, thank God, they all swim very well. There have been cases where those boats capsized. Life have been lost. Ask yourself whether there's any functional general hospital in Oguanocha. Let's not talk about the local government. Let us go to where it's happening. Umo is Arabia. Where is happening? Ask yourself whether they drink water. They still carry water in jerry cans in boats there to sell to them. So, because there was no agreements on corporate social responsibility, or the companies themselves decided, they're also within us, like I tell the people, within us, I always tell them, a few people that are supposed to be in the know are settled and they go to sleep. It was happening in the Niger Delta. It was happening in the Niger Delta. People became millionaires at the detriment of the communities until the communities start to riot. So now we are saying it won't happen in Anambra State. We are now insisting you must provide us evidence of your understanding on corporate social responsibility. We are leading by example, but where we're building a car present plan. He's in NESCO when I presented it. We've reticulated light, solar lights on the roads there. We have reticulated water. Water is already, you have not even, governor has not commissioned the plant. They're already benefiting. Went to the traditional ruler's house, the meeting hall where they have, we put solar panels, solar lights and everything. The community already, and we're grading the road. They're saying, how come these other companies that you have stopped work? In fact, traditional ruler is blind, but he told me he doesn't hear put on the road again. I should tell the governor they should stop all that mining. They should hand over everything to Anambra State government. Because they have done nothing for the community, but are destroying the community. So corporate social responsibility is very crucial. Following that also in law is what we call the community CDA, development agreement. You are supposed to enter into an agreement with the community before, and you have 2 years to implement, make sure it's fully implemented. You are supposed to tell the community, this is what I'm going to do for you. And you agree and you sign. Okay. The family will sign, the community leaders will sign, the PG will sign, and this is the agreement. The question is, how many people do it? Now, the few people that are supposed to ensure that this agreement is signed and implemented are settled. Let me not call it in the night. It is during the day so that they can see whatever they are being settled with. And they go to sleep, and then their communities are suffering. That is why we're also carrying the campaign down to the communities and to the villages. So many miners are, he knows what I'm talking about. Yeah. They're shouting, Prof. I'm telling them, I won't budge. Thank God Mr. Governor is behind me. You must go and do it properly, or else I will not sign, I will not recommend to the governor. And the governor also will not approve. Things must be done right for once, and it's being done right. That's why you don't. How many times have you seen tippers digging laterite again between Oka and Onitsha? Ask yourself. On your committee, you have stopped it. We didn't stop mining. We suspended mining.
That's it.
We're saying, come, play by the rules, and we'll clap for you and we'll cooperate with you.
Okay, Prof, well, every good thing that has a beginning definitely must have an end, and it's time for us to relieve you from the hot seat, in as much as it wasn't very hot for you, because you were military. All right, so Prof, we would like to get your final message to Anambra with regards to your ministry's activities in mining, energy, and petroleum developments in the states.
Well, our message is that they should be a bit patient. Like I said, it's not like trading in motopaths. Now we're getting it right. They should be patient. One, the environment is being protected better now. Two, the resources due to the state is being harnessed. Well, now I just finished a meeting with the Land Revenue man. We're supposed to now walk up. Our IGR is low when we're sitting on gold. Okay. So we're now getting at them. The money we're getting, as people can see, look at our roads. How many kilometers of roads have been done? Look at the dualization taking place. You can see that this time, as we fight these people to give us what is due to us from mining and from petroleum, even the oil companies that are hitherto operating as they like, we are coming after them, and they're beginning to fear. They're beginning to realize that the government is serious. Anambra should just believe that these resources, as they come in, will be used well. When you see what is going on now, you can see the roadwork, the hospitals, the free education, everything. So all these things, because what puts people off at times is say, when you gather all this, what happens to it? But in our own case, in the case of the present regime, the present administration, is that you can see immediately where it is going to. You can see what is happening. And then finally, one has to again say, we need cooperation. People should feel bold. I know some communities that have on their own gotten lawyers to write to my office and say, these people are destroying our communities illegally. Can you please help us stop them? Some have gone to court to counter the lawyers, other lawyers' letters. And then I sit there, I call the Attorney General and say, please, which one do I obey? She said, if a community is saying, we don't want the man, tell the man we don't want him. And so I tell him, I don't want you. If there's an approval already given to you, on my recommendation to government, once the community start complaining, I say, go and reconcile with them. If you don't reconcile with them, I'm withdrawing it, and I will withdraw it. You can threaten me, you can do everything, but I will withdraw it, I've withdrawn it. Until you go back, settle with the community, come back. They show us evidence that you're paying inland revenue. You know, the tax, the little tax, provide the evidence to us. If you have 10 workers, if you tell me you're moving 3 trucks, I'll tell you that for every truck you move, you need 10 workers. So bring me there. What is it called? There's NIF. Tell me how much they're paying. A truck of some materials is as high as 60,000 naira. So what is the percentage of it have you paid as royalty? Because from that royalty you pay, Anambra State gets derivation of 13%. So we're also under obligation to ensure that royalty is paid to the federal government so that our own revenue will come. For the petroleum, we must make sure that every barrel of oil produced in the state is accounted for. At the moment, they're not all totally accounted for. We're going after them. Those producing our oil and gas must account for it so that Anambra State can get his fair quota. And at the end of the day, the question is, what do you do with it? Is it wasted or not? In the case of our state, it's not wasted. I don't want to waste time. Just look around here. Look around yourself. Drive from here to Onitsha. You see now you can go to Onitsha in 30 minutes. It's not federal government that made it happen. It's the state government. Look at the way the road markings you see. It makes you believe you're in a place, a community. And so some of us, when we see the way funds are used, we are forced to work committedly to ensure that these funds come in, to ensure that also the government succeeds.
All right, so I'd like to thank you, Professor Charles Ofoegbu, MD, Anambra State Solid Minerals Development Company and Anambra State Petroleum and Energy Resources Limited. Thank you for coming and ask the Commissioner. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much for hosting me.
High Chief Dr. Lomefo, PhD, Commissioner Nafumaka, Ozna Anambra State, Makisonyo Line and Memetata, ask the Commissioner, now by Nanyang with the program, no way.
Dalo, Obunembo, the Anambra, Udoya Cheddar. Soludo, Negosi, indeed, Anambra, no in good hands. All very clear. Ejuru, Bwege, Enyo Ifabanaka. Always fed them Bancho, Kuno, Malo. Ndị niile na-enwe ife ndị oyibo na-akpọ worry maka insecurity Operation Udo ga-achị ya ebidokwa on Saturday o. Ọ na-aba anụ gba ajọ ọsọ agba ya ajọ ebe. As from Saturday on, I need the total maximum cooperation from ndị Anambra ka udo wee chịa n'obodo anyị. Daalụnụ.
All right, this is where we draw the curtain on today's edition of Ask the Commissioner. It makes a return next week, Thursday. My name is Priska Wanko.
Abụ m onye Akachukwu Ugochukwu.